We spend so much time thinking about optimizing our health with diet and exercise. But what if I told you the single most important decision you'll ever make for your health happens way before you ever step foot in a gym? It all comes down to who you choose to guide you through the massive, confusing maze of modern healthcare. And trust me, in that maze, a guide isn't just a nice to have. It's absolutely essential.
Yeah, and this quote right here, it just nails it. Think about it. When you're sick, the last thing you want to deal with is a system that feels like the belly of the beast. It's confusing, it's intimidating, especially when you're feeling vulnerable. The stakes are incredibly high. Without someone to guide you, getting lost is, well, it's not just easy, it's almost a given.
Okay, so let's try looking at this a different way. Imagine this. Getting seriously sick is like being dropped at the bottom of a massive, dangerous mountain you have to climb. Who do you want leading that expedition? And look, this isn't just a clever metaphor. It's a really powerful way to completely rethink how we see the doctor-patient relationship.
All right, so when you think of a brilliant doctor, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's probably someone like Dr. House, right? The grumpy genius barking orders and solving the mystery. But what if I told you that's the exact opposite of what you actually need? It's time to completely flip that script. So instead of that authoritarian genius, what you really need is a Sherpa. Just think about that for a second. A Sherpa is a native guide. They know the terrain, they understand the foreign and dangerous environment of healthcare because they live in it. They know the shortcuts, they know the hidden dangers, they know the local customs. That's the kind of expert guide you want on your side.
And this is where the difference becomes crystal clear. In that old Dr. House model, the doctor's authority is aimed at you. They're the boss. They tell you what to do. But with the Sherpa model, it's totally different. You're hiring them for their expertise, but their authority is pointed at the system, for you. They fight the system on your behalf. They're your advocate, your navigator.
So what does this look like in practice? Well, a real Sherpa doctor knows the hospital inside and out. They know the culture, they know which nurses are the best, they know exactly who to call for what. When you are at your weakest, they're at their strongest, looking out for you. They're the ones doing all that heavy lifting, dealing with the bureaucracy so you don't have to. And here's the best part. You set the goals. It's your mountain to climb. And when you finally get to the top, back to good health, they step back and let you enjoy the view.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, how do you actually find a doctor like this? Well, it's a challenge for sure. You're looking for one person who has 3 really specific and honestly pretty rare qualities all rolled into one.
So here they are. This is your checklist. First up, they need to have a free market orientation. What does that mean? It means they work for you, the patient, not for some giant insurance company. Second, they've got to be on board with a primal or wellness-focused approach. They should be just as interested in keeping you healthy as they are in treating you when you're sick. And number 3, and this one can be the trickiest to find, they need to have a hospital presence. They need to be able to follow you into the hospital and keep being your guide if you're ever admitted.
All right, let's circle back to that first trait, the whole free market thing. This is so critical, it really needs its own moment. Because you see, the way your doctor gets paid completely changes the game. It defines your entire relationship. It all comes down to a very simple old saying. You might call it the golden rule of healthcare. You have to ask yourself, who's paying my doctor? Because whoever's writing the checks, well, they're the ones making the rules. Their priorities come first.
And this table just lays it all out, plain and simple. If a third-party insurance company is footing the bill, guess who the doctor really works for? They're working to meet the insurance company's requirements. But when you pay them directly with cash, the whole equation flips. It creates this incredibly simple, powerful alignment. The doctor works for you. Period.
And get this. This is the part that might surprise you. You'd think paying cash would be way more expensive, right? But a lot of the time, it's actually the other way around. See, when a doctor doesn't have to hire a whole team just to deal with insurance paperwork, their costs go way, way down, and they can pass those savings right on to you.
I mean, really think about that. We're talking about a simple office visit in one of these direct pay practices costing as little as $25 to $40. That's it. Suddenly, high-quality, really personal care becomes something that's actually affordable and within reach for a lot of people. Now, there's another model that works on this same idea, and it's called concierge medicine. The way it works is you pay a yearly fee, like a retainer, and in return, you get pretty much unlimited 24/7 access to your doctor. This means the doctor can have a much smaller number of patients, so they have way more time and focus just for you. It's just another great way to make sure you're the priority, not some faceless company.
Okay, so we've talked about the kind of relationship you want. But what about the doctor's specialty? If we're sticking with our mountain climbing analogy, who's the team captain? Well, there's a really strong argument for one specific field of medicine.
And that recommendation is a doctor who's trained in family medicine. Why? Because their training is completely different. They actually rotate through all the major specialties. They're literally trained to be team leaders, the person who coordinates everything between all the different specialists. Plus, they've already built up a network of trusted specialists, the surgeons, the cardiologists, that they can call up for you in a heartbeat.
Now, of course, if you're an adult and you don't have kids, a specialist in internal medicine is also a fantastic choice. Their training isn't quite as broad as family medicine, but their knowledge of adult medical issues is incredibly deep. So they make another really great option for your personal Sherpa.
All right, let's wrap this up with probably the single most important point of this entire discussion. This is not something you do when you're already in a crisis. You have to find and hire your guide before the climb even starts.
And this analogy, man, it just says it all. A personal doctor is a lot like a fire extinguisher. You set up this relationship when you're healthy, when you feel like you don't even need it. Because the second a crisis hits and you need that fire extinguisher, you're going to need it badly, and you're going to need it right away. By then, it's way too late to go shopping for one.
Look, your health is the single most important expedition you will ever go on. There's nothing more important. So the question I want to leave you with is a simple one. Have you hired your Sherpa?